Hello everyone, today's lesson is lesson 61, using letters to identify geometric figures. So in geometry we often use letters to refer to points. So you can refer to points on each vertex of different shapes with a letter. Okay, so this triangle, we could call this triangle ABC. We could call it triangle CAB, ACB, BAC, or CBA. I can call it any of those amounts. Just make sure that you have to have the letters next to each other that are actually next to each other on the line. So I could not say that it was, let's show this on the rectangle. Okay, so I could call this rectangle ABCD, but I could not call it ACBD. So I can't call it this. And that's because A and C are across from each other. I have to call the shape in order from the direction around. I can't skip numbers. So I can go A, B, C, D, or I can go A, D, C, B. Okay, I can do either of those. Okay. We also can name lines and line segments by letters. So for example, our figure here, this is line AB. We then have segment AB and ray AB. Okay, and it just tells us what it is based on what type of line we have. Okay. Now, we can also name angles using letters. For example, here I have this parallelogram, okay? But let's say I wanted to name just this angle right here. Well, I can't name it angle D because this angle on this side is also considered angle D. So I would have to name it by 3 of its points. And so we use this symbol to tell us its angle. And then we use 3 letters, and the vertex has to be the second letter. So for example, I could call this angle here angle ADC, or I could call it angle CDA. But D has to be the middle letter. Okay? All right. So this problem says, in rectangle ABCD, name the segments perpendicular to AB, and then name the parallel segments in the rectangle. Okay. So we know each of these angles in the rectangle is a right angle. So AD and BC are both perpendicular to AB. Okay, so my answer for the first part would be AD or BC. And then it says name the parallel segments. Well, parallel means it's going to be straight across from it or going the same direction. So the parallel segment for AB is going to be this one here, which is DC. And I put the line above it to show that it's a segment. I could also call this CD. Both of those would be correct. Okay. This next question says the length of the segment PQ is 3 centimeters. The length of the segment PR is 8 centimeters. What is the length of segment QR? Okay, so I know that the length of the whole segment is 8 centimeters. Okay, and I know that PO or PQ plus QR would equal the whole length. Well, PQ is 3 centimeters. But I don't know what QR is. So I'm going to just put the letter L because I'm not sure what that is. So I know that 3 plus something equals 8. Well, I know that 3 plus 5 equals 8. So that means the segment QR equals 5 centimeters. Okay. We could have also said that the whole thing is 8 centimeters, and we subtract the smaller amount, and we'd still get 5 centimeters. Okay. All right, on this problem it says, in the quadrilateral QRST, angle S is an acute angle. Name another acute angle in the polygon. So remember, acute angles mean they're smaller than 90 degrees. And so if angle S is an acute angle, straight across from it, angle Q is also acute. Okay? Because opposite angles are the same in a parallelogram. Okay. All right, this problem says, refer to this rectangle to answer the problems. So it says, A, which segment is parallel to JK? So let's highlight JK, that's this one. Which line is parallel? Well, that's this one here. So that's going to be ML. Now, the second part says, if JK is 10 centimeters long and JM is half of that, what is the perimeter of the rectangle? Well, if JK is 10 and JM is half of that, half of 10 is 5. Okay, so my perimeter is going to equal 2 times 10 plus 2 times 5. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 5 is 10. 20 plus 10 equals 30 centimeters. All right. So for the last problem, it says, angle AMD is an obtuse angle. So that's AMD. So that's this big angle here. Okay. Using 3 letters, what is another way to name this angle? Well, instead of doing AMD, I can go backwards and do DMA. And I need to remember to put that angle sign. Angle. There we go. Okay. The next question says, which angle appears to be a right angle? So if I look at my lines, right angles are perpendicular. So it looks like BMD is a right angle. So I would say angle BMD. Okay. All right. H. Which ray appears to be perpendicular to MD? So we look at, okay, MD is here. So what's perpendicular to it? Well, perpendicular to MD is ray MB. So I label this as MB with little ray arrow. So remember, when we're talking about a line or a ray, you'd mark it in this way. Okay. The last part says, name one angle that appears to be acute. Now, there are a couple here we can name. So acute angles are small. So I could say that it's AMB. That could be my answer, angle AMB. I could also say angle BMC. That one is also acute. I could also say angle CMD. All these angles are acute. So I could say any of those angles are acute angles. Okay? There's even one more. I could also say AMC. Okay? So there are lots of different ways to name angles. And that's it for this lesson. Good luck on your homework.